Welcome to a new lesson of our online course. This video today is going to address punctuation rules through which you will learn where and when they are used. Hoping you will use them in an academic way, some slides will be based on the book Writing Academic English. Because this video outline addresses the most frequently used marks such as comma, semicolon, colon, and so on, it will help you to learn and practice the rules of punctuation until you are confident enough to use them correctly. So let's get started with an introduction. Introduction. In general, we should know how and where to use the punctuation properly because it conveys meaning just as words do. To make these words clear, let us consider these two sentences. So both sentences are commands, but the first sentence would be correct only in society of cannibals, whereas the second sentence is that you tell your grandmother to eat something. Of course, we should know and identify the symbol of punctuation rules to make it clear for those who don't know them. So the first one, let's start with comma. Using comma is sometimes difficult for learners of English because they are used differently in other languages. The first rules we will take in this stage is comma. So there are many commas rules in English, but you may remember them more easily if you realize that they can be organized into just four main groups: introducer, coordinator, inserter, and tag. In the following slides, I am going to define these words more clearly. So let's start with introducer commas. Here, an introducer comma follows any element that comes in front of the first sentence, or what we call the first independent clause. As we will see in this table, you may notice that comma can be put after words, phrases, dependent clause, and direct quotation. And for direct quotation, keep in your mind that comma should be written here. Whereas the coordinator comma linked equal element in sentence together, either with coordinate conjunction known as fun boys, I will show you in this picture, for, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. Or coordinate items that are more than two, because if we have just two elements, we don't put any commas, as the example seen here. Maryam speaks English and French. The last point of comma is series of three or more phrases. For example, when we have a compound verb, noun, preposition, and adjective. As the example shows here, we have verbs. We have run and give and collapse. Whereas in the first one we have at, on, and on. So let's move to the insert commas. Here an insert comma is used before and after any element that is inserted into the middle of an independent clause. What do we mean by independent clause? For example, simple sentence or other sentences that have independent clause in terms of words that can be seen in however, or phrases. On the other hand, we may suggest that these kind of words can be put here, but if the meaning can be clear here, we should put it, for example, as exists here. My uncle, however, refuses to quit smoking. That's great. And you may notice here we have comma in this one and here. So let us see the following rules, which is about tag commas. A tag comma is used when added certain elements to the end of a sentence, such as the following table illustrates in terms of words, phrases, tag question, as well as direct quotation. I will talk a little bit about direct quotation here. In introducer commas, we say that comma should be here in the reported quote, while in the tag it's before the quotation mark. At this stage, I recommend to practice some exercise to measure how much we understand these rules. The first one, add commas wherever they are necessary. The second one, name the function of each comma, as we have seen introducer, coordinator, inserter, and tag commas. Please try to pause the video, answer the whole exercise, and play it again. So let's have the right answers. First one, we have advertising is essential to the free enterprise system, yet it can sometimes be very annoying. If we see this kind of structure, we will understand it's a compound sentence because we have a coordinator here. It's called yet. That means the comma should be before it. If we have these rules, we will understand that the function of comma here is coordinator. That's great. Every minute of the day and night, people are exposed to ads on television, on billboards, in the newspaper, and in magazines. Try please to keep into your mind that we will have some sentences that consist two functions of comma as the second one. We will find that this is an introducer, comma, people are exposed to ads on television. We have here on and here on, in and in. That means we have a coordinator in terms of preposition. As we will see, comma, here and here and here. In this sentence, we have two functions, introducer and coordinator. The third, you cannot even avoid advertising in the privacy of your own car or your own home. 4. Advertisers have begun selling their products in those places too. Try to focus on this one. Some of you may be confused about or here, but we have just two items, your own car and your own home. That means we are not going to put any comma if we have two items. And try to focus here for. The meaning of coordinator for is making a link between the cause and the effect. That means it's coordinator, commas. And we have two in the end. In this sense, it's two functions in this kind of sentence. That's great. In the first sentence, we have a coordinator, comma, and tag, comma. That's great. In the last few years, advertising agencies have started to hire young people to hand out circulars on street corners and in parking lots. Of course, the first one we have in the last few years as an introducer, comma, that's good. And some of you may be confused about this on and in, but here it's clear because we have just two items. Because Americans are exposed to so much advertising, they have become immune to it. Great. We have here because as dependent clause and it's finished here. That means it's introducer, comma. Great. Sex is used in many cigarette ads, for example. You might be confused why we put here, for example. But this is another possibility in tag commas. Great. The women in such ads are often dressed in revealing clothes and are surrounded by handsome men, and the men in such ads are always extremely handsome. Let's have a look at the verb here and try to see how many verbs we have. 1, 2, 3. That's good. We have 3. And try to focus each verb for its subject. We have subject for are here, and are it's for a woman in the beginning of the sentence. That means we have a coordinator here, as we will see in this place. We should not put comma here simply because we have just two verbs. Nice. Let's move to the other one. By the way, this is called coordinator. Let's have a look at 9. As everyone knows, smoking and drinking don't make you sexy. Let's have a look at the first one, as. Dependent clause, that is going to stop here. We are going to put comma and independent clause used in inserter, comma. Great. On the contrary, drinking makes you fat and smoking makes you sick. Here we have two kind of functions. The first one can be seen on the contrary as an introducer, comma, and second we have before and as a coordinator. Great. Recently, smoking was banned in most public places in the United States. We have recently as a word, and if we put comma here, it refers to the function of introducer. Great. Many people oppose it to the law, but it finally passed. We have here but, and it's a part of fanboys, which means it's a coordinator. In many other countries, however, smoking is still allowed. Here we have however, and it is put here as inserter commas, which we will have two commas. Great. Anti-smoking groups want to ban smoking in those countries too. It's clear we have to in the end, and this is tag comma. Great. This is the end of this video, which you learn how to use commas in different contexts with different functions. The next video is going to be about semicolon. I hope you will learn a lot about these rules. Enjoy your lessons. Thank you so much.